Okay. Trials of Mana. I already said this is a must play on the Nintendo Switch, must play on the PS4, must play on the PC, whatever system that you own and you want to play it on. But goodness gracious, Trials of Mana is exactly what a remake should be. This is exactly what I want to see from Square Enix, and Square Enix is firing on all cylinders when it comes to their games. Seriously, just this year alone, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Trials of Mana, and also Bravely Default 2. But let's talk about Trials of Mana, because this game is even better than I thought it would be, and I already thought this would be a must-play game on the Nintendo Switch that like 20,000 of you guys have already went out and watched and said, yo, this is a really cool game. And now that we have the demo out on the Nintendo Switch eShop and also on the PlayStation 4, I think, or PC, I'm not really sure. I played it on the Nintendo Switch. This footage that you guys are seeing on the Nintendo Switch, this game is a must-own RPG of 2020. It is absolutely phenomenal. They have captured the essence somehow of that 2D Super Nintendo game, somehow made it fully 3D and never skipped a beat. It's like it naturally progressed to, hey, this is what the game was supposed to look like. All those years we were getting bad 3D Mana games, or a bad 3D Mana game. All those years we were getting the Secret of Mana remake that looked horrible. All these years that we were just getting Mana games that weren't good. It never skipped a beat. This was the true game that we were supposed to get when it comes to the line of Mana games after Secret of Mana on the Super Nintendo. This is what was supposed to be next. And honestly, it feels like the whole 20 years plus that has passed by, goodness gracious, it was worth the wait, because Trials of Mana is so good. Seriously, I am reconsidering what I think is going to be the best remake of 2020. Honestly, this has jumped right up there. I didn't think it'd be better than Final Fantasy VII Remake at first. I didn't think it'd be better than Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. And yes, those games are out. However, we already got a demo for Final Fantasy VII Remake. And now after playing this, I can confirm based on the demos, if you just want to base it on the demos, Trials of Mana, definitely, I had way more fun with it, and I feel that it's more of a true essence of what the original game was, in addition to upgrading the graphics significantly. Obviously not as good as Final Fantasy VII Remake, and don't get me wrong, I'm going to play the heck out of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm going to beat the game, I'm going to have a ton of fun, but man, Trials of Mana, knowing that you're going to get the whole experience in one go, with all the different 6 characters, with all the different items, with all the different stuff that you remember from the original game, but then just blown up and made huge in 3D, is just absolutely amazing. So let's first start with the story in the game. The story is very good. I like how you can pick each character and kind of play out their story. I picked Duran, and Duran essentially got bodied by a wizard, and he needs to set out on his path in order to get stronger, so we can take down that wizard that bodied him and pretty much all the different knights in his village with the king. So yeah, he needs to go do that. So that's the story, and the story's good. You meet up with other people. You can pick between 3 different protagonists, and you're going to meet up with them later in the different towns and everything. But yes, speaking of the town, speaking of the story, all of it fully English voiced. You can also have Japanese voices, subtitles as well. It is phenomenal. They have done a great job crafting the story, the cutscenes, remaking everything. It feels completely new. The graphics are so much better. Everything is so much better told. I think the translations are even really good as well, or just as good, if not better than what they did for the collection of Mana. It really is very impressive with the story. Now let's move on to the graphics, because the graphics obviously are something that people are going to be looking at. This is a Unreal Engine 4 game, which I didn't know that was Unreal Engine 4. Square Enix, whoever made the decision to move over to Unreal Engine 4 for all your games, thank you, because this game, I can tell you, it probably would have had issues if they were using some other type of engine or something, but the fact that they're using Unreal, everything was smooth. You can tell the gameplay just runs well on the Switch. Everything is stable and solid, didn't really encounter any type of frame rate dips or anything like that, and the graphics look great. The sound design looks amazing. It feels, honestly, man, like that Mana feel. For those who've never played Mana before, you might not know, but the sound effects within the Mana games are always crucial to, like, when you're switching items or when you're picking something. And when you combine that with the look of Mana in terms of how the graphics are in this game, it just creates the environment, and it creates, like I said, it never skipped a beat. And the graphics to me just feels like the natural progression of what the Trials of Mana, or the Mana series I should say, should have done years ago when moving to 3D. It just feels like that, and it's so good. It is such a shakeup, but keeping that original feel. And once again, with the graphics in the game, it feels like Mana. If you look at the Secret of Mana remake, that didn't feel like it. That didn't feel like Mana to me. It felt like they're making some type of blocky game just to try to somewhat appease Mana fans out there. It seemed like a cheap cash grab at times. But with this game, Trials of Mana, you know that it's not as a big of a financial investment as like a Final Fantasy VII or some of the other games, Kingdom Hearts, but it still feels big enough. it still feels big enough, and it feels like it's appropriate for what the Mana series is, but still being respectful to the Mana fans and the series, but saying, hey, you know, this isn't going to be the biggest budget of remakes, but it's still really good. Obviously, there's some textures with the ground. It's not as detailed, not every single individual blade of grass. I think Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is definitely going to have better graphics in this game. However, the graphics fit the gameplay, the graphics fit the style, and to me, it really does just shine. This game looks Mana, it feels Mana, and the graphics just capture all of that. If you've played the first, second, and third game originally, you're going to feel right at home with this, and it's going to feel very appropriate for the price of the game, very appropriate for the style and everything, and the fact that the whole game is being remade in glorious HD on this Unreal Engine 4. So very good, very impressed with the graphics, and I'm very happy. I did play the game in portable mode, runs good in portable mode, graphics look good in portable mode. Very impressed with the story, very impressed with the graphics, very impressed with the sound design and how it all fuses together. But I think the shining star of any RPG, and especially a Mana game, is the gameplay. And the gameplay in this game is phenomenal. The gameplay was already absolutely amazing. It was action RPG reinvented. Secret of Mana was my first action RPG that I ever played. I never played an action RPG like that. I mean, Zelda 2, I played that before Secret of Mana, but this was like the first one where you have like a party and it wasn't a turn-based game. And when I picked up Trials of Mana and I started playing and kind of fighting enemies and doing the different skills and kind of putting together everything and leveling up, I was like, man, I am in love. They are bringing that same system, but bringing with everything that we've talked about when it comes to the story, the graphics, the sound, and in 3D, they're bringing all of that to here in the gameplay, and it really is good. And it goes to show you how ahead of its time when it comes to action RPGs that Trials of Mana is, because they can take that same system in terms of what they did, bring it over, and I feel like it's just as good as action RPGs today. It's just as good as a Kingdom Hearts, or it's just as good as any of the other action RPGs that have came out. It's right up there. Maybe it doesn't have as much depth as some of the other ones, like a Xenoblade Chronicles 2, for example, but man, when it comes to some of the mechanics and getting into the gameplay and the feel of it, it feels just as good when it comes to certain action RPGs. It doesn't feel old or dated or out of place when it comes to the mechanics or the battling. It feels really good, and I love what they did with the bonus and the experience. The better you fight, the more experience you get, potential items you get. It all just feels great to play. Square Enix, I want to give you guys a round of applause. This might be the best remake of 2020. Now, of course, Xenoblade is coming out, and I think that that one probably has the upper hand once that game comes out, but this is definitely going to be up there for me in terms of best remakes, because we have a number of remakes coming out this year, maybe some that haven't been announced yet, but we have a number of ones coming out this year, and out of this first half, there's 3 big ones, and yo, this might be the best one or the second best one when it comes down to it. I'm loving what they're doing, but overall, at the end of the day, I don't think it matters which one is first or second or third. It's the fact that RPG fans are finally getting their due. It's the fact that RPG fans, not only are we getting the classics remade in the modern day for anybody to play, but they're being so much better than what they were when it comes down to it. They are adding content, they are doing things differently, and I love what Square Enix is doing with this. I love the gameplay, the smoothness of the game. I didn't have any problems with the combat or the controls. I love how you can jump up, you can do air combos if somebody's in the air. I didn't really have a chance to do many of those, but you can jump up and attack in this game. You have your cross slash that you can map quickly to the R button or to the L to open up your items or to open up your skills. You have the dodge roll in there. It's just so good, and with so many different characters, the 6 different characters, 3 characters that you can play per a playthrough, there is going to be a lot of replay value, plus they're adding even more content in, which I might have to do in a separate video, because otherwise I'm going to be talking forever on this game, but they're adding even more content in the game that wasn't in the original, plus everything coming over. This is, to me, this is what you're supposed to do with a remake. Square Enix, they have really outdone themselves with this one, and honestly, I implore all of you guys to check out the demo right now on the Nintendo Switch. I'm sure it's probably on the PS4 at this point too, but there is a demo I know for sure on the Nintendo Switch. You guys should go check it out. Even if you're not into RPGs as much, check this one out. See if you're into some of the action and the gameplay and what they're doing there, because it is a very good game, and it is aged like fine wine, because they took the same type of gameplay, right? And it is aged like fine wine. It is so good. It doesn't have the multiplayer in there, which is unfortunate. This game would have been cool to kind of have some nice little local co-op with, but maybe for the next one. Maybe for the next one, or if they decide to do something else with the Mana series. But I think this game needs to do well. I hope this game does well, because it really is good. And it's not a $60 game, it's a $50 game. So it is $10 cheaper than what you normally get. So maybe Walmart even has it cheaper once it comes out. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't checked there. But either way, my mind is racing, kind of shooketh when it comes to how good this game is. And I am buying it day one on the PlayStation 4 and also on the Nintendo Switch. I want to support Square Enix. I want to support this game. I want there to be more remakes of classic games. And I think that everybody should go out there and buy Trials of Mana. This demo has cemented its legacy in terms of Trials of Mana as action RPG kings. As one of the action RPG kings in the game industry, it is phenomenal. Go out there and play the game, guys. See for yourself. So, what do you guys think about Trials of Mana for those who have played it or for those who are still thinking about getting it? Did this demo change your mind? Are you still planning on picking it up? What are your thoughts on it? What do you like? What do you dislike? What do you think is going to be good in the game? Who do you think is going to be your starting cast? Let me know who you guys picked. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the link in the description. We've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.